they're fucking
I think on
superheroes.
Plug Talk though is like we try to make it as close to like what us hooking up with a girl really would be like.
yeah.
So we're not trying to do all these crazy ass positions that are going to give you scoliosis.
Right.
And we're not
This is
really
real sex.
trying to, just make it like an hour and a half long thing, which sometimes like, as a podcaster, it's like, if Kanye West shows up tomorrow and you can get 2 hours with him, that's way better than getting a half hour, right?
Yeah,
There's just that much more valuable content.
Right.
Sometimes when we're fucking a girl and she's really popping, I start to think like, maybe I just need to like think about the wall for like 15 minutes and just really extend this scene out because this is very valuable content.
Well, you said that you're not doing anything crazy, but you've had Adriana Chechik on before, right?
Yeah, she was her first drop.
Which is an insane first drop. That's like
she's crazy.
having Kanye on your first album or some shit.
If you're putting out a sex video podcast and Chechik is your first guest, it's like we're doing a basketball podcast. Here's Michael Jordan.
But we talk about a lot with her. She has like one tweet from fairly recently where it's like her neck was broken.
Yeah.
And she's
My
like, it's
favorite.
from Pile Driver.
Yeah.
And she's like, but I'm not going to stop doing it.
She talks about it on the podcast.
She knows that was on the podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy. She was like, yeah, my doctors just keep begging me to stop doing all of these
It was so funny.
insane positions.
I heard that, and then I see her tweets, and then I'm on Pornhub, and you see like the thumbnail of her like latest video, and she's just bent in half. It's like, yep, nope,
Ooh,
girl
my
ain't
neck hurts
stopping.
thinking about it.
So I asked, did you do that with her?
We didn't do the pile driver thing, but we had previously hooked up with her where you were at a bowling alley with her, and then she comes home with her, and they're drunk, and like literally I'm on the couch smoking a blunt, watching a fucking video on YouTube, and they bust in the door and just like attacking me, like
It was
grabbing
insane.
my
Adam,
arm.
whoa, you
No,
were watching.
I'm not
you were
kidding.
watching poker. Oh, it's so
I
hard
just
for
wanted
you,
to
you
chill.
fucking-
No,
I do know what you
but
mean.
I 1000%
Yeah.
know what you
She
mean.
literally
Yeah.
was like on the floor on her knees, like, please fuck us right now.
Now that I don't know about. Listen, there are times when I want to chill. It's not when that's happening.
And she's the squirt god, right?
Yeah.
And so we're
Gotta get
on
out
our
the tarp
fucking couch.
shit.
No, there was no tarp. It was just pure, like a tidal wave of squirt just blasting all over us.
We no longer have that couch.
That's like the mark. Like, that's the mark of good sex. You gotta throw out your couch.
Is that why? So you're obviously in your real house now, but I remember last time I interviewed you, you were talking about you had like a porn house too, but that was just because you were coming from the bowling alley. You were not in the porn house. That was just
That was just real sex. Like me and her were just doing like a girlfriend's night, and it was like kind of like, well, should we go have sex now? That's what happened.
I get it.
Well,
And-
yeah, totally. That happens all the time.
And
How often would something like that happen?
back then when I was actually going out a lot more, pretty often. I feel like
Yeah.
that's the first time we fucked Riley. It was like that. We were like all out drinking. We were like, let's go have sex. She also squirted in our bed.
I remember we had one beautiful moment where she had two porn star homegirls who were hanging out at the house. We're sitting around smoking weed. She doesn't smoke weed, but we're all just hanging out. And then she's walking them to the elevator in our old apartment building. And as they're getting to the fucking elevator
We
door,
talked about this.
one of the girls just says like, by the way, your boyfriend's hot. I would really like to suck his dick sometime.
she was like, yeah, we didn't suck his dick though. And I was like, oh, do you want to come back? Like, why are you leaving?
So they leave and they come back 2 minutes later and they all just go to town on me. And I'm just like, how the fuck did I get to the point where like, it's just like, she just wants to express her love of giving head on me. It felt like I was just like an avatar there
Yeah,
to,
man,
to
you're just,
allow this
you're
to
just the
happen.
dick. You're a piece of meat, dude. They're objectifying you is what they're doing.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Wow. That's fucking nuts, man. Not that any of it's surprising. If you follow you two, it's like I know that's what your life is, but just hearing
that
it is
era
like,
of our life kind of feels like.
Well, yeah. So
Yeah, that
now
was
you have
like
the baby, right? Congratulations.
Yeah, we're
But now
now
everything is more scheduled.
Yeah,
because,
exactly.
yeah.
We have like
what's
the porn
funny
house.
is, I feel like normally, if you hear about a couple who needs to like schedule their sex, it's because their love life is falling apart,
Yeah.
and it's like a bad thing. It's like you're gonna go have some lame ass 2-minute missionary because it's Wednesday at 8:00 and it says so. When you guys schedule it, it's a little different. It's probably because you're like coordinating with porn stars. I feel like your scheduled sex is a tiny bit different than the average couple.
Yeah, it's like a 5-hour block once a week. We're doing 2 scenes, and we're getting paid for it.
You do a 5-hour block?
I prefer to do 2 or 3 scenes in a row so I could just get through
Superman
it.
over here, huh?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm better on the third nut.
Well, yeah. I mean, you find your
Go longer,
rhythm.
yeah.
Yeah. Knowing what I know
Are you
now.
all natural? You doing PEDs?
No, I don't do anything. But knowing what I know now, I would have been beating off like every time before I went to hang out with a girl or go on a date like my entire life.
right.
Because you really want to go into that situation with a clean tank.
Bro, who were you hanging out with who didn't tell you that?
Yeah, that's kind of a-
I pretty young.
See, I didn't know. I don't think I would have gone. I wouldn't have gone on any of the dates if I jerked off. I would have stayed home.
That's a slippery slope. I've run into that issue as well. Like,
Yeah,
never
I have
mind.
to go.
Just like a lot less motivated.
The nut inside you is the motivation to go do things and have sex and get it up and perform and all that. You lose that, it is a fine line.
You're running on fumes. It takes on a different life of its own. Yeah.
How old are you now?
38.
Yeah, I'm 37. I mean, 3 in a row for 5 hours. Good for you, dog.
Thanks for that.
I'm impressed.
And then I go home and she makes me bang her.
I don't make you do anything, but I do feel abusive when we end up having sex, and I know it's like your 4th nut of the day.
But I heard from a master porn star. I heard from a master porn star that the more hard you spend your life, like the more boners you get, and the more you have a boner, the bigger your dick will be at any given moment because you're stretching out the capillaries. Which I don't even know what that is, but
like this
the capillaries somehow expand and and I look down at my dick like on a week where we filmed a fuckload, and I'm like, that thing is hanging long.
Wait.
It's hanging low.
Yeah, let's take some notes on this.
Spreading misinformation over
Look
here.
up capillaries.
I was writing stay hard. I don't have to get hard, bro. I stay hard.
Were you actually? Let me start with this. How would you define porn star? What do you think the definition of a porn star is?
I mean, I feel like the old true definition is like someone who works for the studios and gets
Videos
contracted
and shit
by
like
the
that, yeah.
big companies, and probably like now ranks really highly on Pornhub and stuff like that. But now we were just talking about this like I feel like Violet Saucy is like the next big porn star, but I feel like now with OnlyFans and all the different lanes, it's kind of hard to be like a big porn star
only one
figure because
there's so many.
you might be big in the OnlyFans space, and the head of a big company might know.
Well, yeah. So like, if a girl does just her OnlyFans, and let's say it's just like solo, like it's not even like with a male talent or anything, but is like super popular, would you call that a porn star?
No. OnlyFans girl.
Right. OnlyFans
She gotta
girl.
be. She gotta be
You gotta
fucking.
like-
I agree. You gotta be fucking.
I
The
always
old rule was
just
you
say
had to
At the
like,
very least, you
I
gotta be
remember
fucking.
my original rule is you gotta do anal. I was like, if you're gonna be a star, like you gotta go all the way.
It was,
on this one.
and Mia Khalifa was one of the inspired. Like, she's a porn star. Like, we're like, she hasn't done anal.
yeah,
I don't
come on,
know,
you can't be
like-
called
But
that
see,
until
no, because like when I came in, a lot of girls were looking at me like this, like, oh, she's like, a lot of the companies were trying to.
When you say you came in, meaning what? When you did a professional shoot, like
I didn't do a professional shoot.
Right,
That's the thing.
right.
Like,
It's all
I
about the come up, babe.
I made a name for myself, but it was like I was doing the private Snapchat thing. So I was having sex with him, and I was selling it on this low-key private Snapchat way, like before OnlyFans existed.
Right.
But there were big companies reaching out to me to do a scene for them, and so then I got a fleshlight. So it was like I got some of the
you
things.
get a flashlight, you're a porn star.
Yeah, fuck me.
Yeah, but it's like I didn't do a gangbang. So the girls
Sure,
were talking
sure.
about me like, oh, she has clout, but she's not like a real performer.
Yeah.
Why are you guys giving her this sort of attention? Which I feel like now that conversation doesn't exist anymore because there's
It's so
OnlyFans
established,
and
yeah.
so many people doing it a very different
You were
way.
pioneer.
I can, yeah, but I
You're a
get
trailblazer.
say
of the game.
that, but
I get both. I get both sides. Like I can see like at some LA party with like Leo would be like, why is there a fucking TikToker here?
Yeah.
because it's
Like,
like,
I'm
it's
not-
I'm the new wave. I'm more famous than you.
Yeah.
Like
I also
right?
can understand if some of those girls were like, the shit I had to do to get to this level.
Right.
It is,
But
it's
you
exactly
don't
that.
fuck that, you
it's
know?
exactly that. It's like
Yeah.
they had to get paid, $700 a scene. They had to pay for their tests. They had
Right.
to pay for their outfits and do all
Work
this
with
stuff.
people I don't
and-
want to work with. and
Exactly,
do
all
crazy
this stuff.
shit,
And then
yeah.
those girls, if they were smart, they made a name for themselves. They started doing OnlyFans, and then they barely even shoot studio anymore if they don't want to.
It's
you
like
know?
being a pro wrestler where you're on the road like 30 days or
Yeah.
like 30 days out of the month just
Yeah.
fucking, and then but like those girls, like this is kind of like an old school conversation because I don't feel like this really happens anymore, but those girls feel like I put in all this work for all these
now
years.
I should
I
be the
deserve
star.
to get these opportunities when in reality it's like, no, this is 100% about star power and who's the most
Who's
popular.
hot, who's sexy,
It's
who
unfortunate,
fucks,
but that's
whatever.
just
Yeah.
that's what the companies
Yeah.
are going to
But that-
gravitate towards.
it is
That's
like
what
sports.
the fans want.
It's like,
yeah.
if you're better at the game, you're gonna get
if
more
you go
playing time and
viral,
more-
then all the companies are going to hit you up. That's
Right,
just what it
is how it
is.
goes.
Except being better at the game in basketball is very clearly defined, and in porn,
Yes,
it's
it's
just
like,
literally
give me
like
this, give me that.
who's the hottest and who the people like the most.
Yeah.
It's just like a lot of girls have to swallow that bitter pill at a certain point.
sure.
Like, oh, like I'm maybe not going to have a long career because they just don't like me that much. And
Right,
I can
right.
understand what's tough.
So